Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we're talking trolling motors and specifically my Motorguide Xi3. Be sure you stay tuned for the whole video. At the end I'll be going over pros and cons about this particular trolling motor, and if I was going to get a new trolling motor, which one would I go for? Stick around. Alright, so first things first. Why did I choose this trolling motor? A couple reasons. The very first is it had more power than the one that came on it. I did feel like the 55 pound was underpowered for the type of fishing that I do, so I moved up to 70 pounds. The second reason is this is the most power I could get out of a trolling motor without having to rewire my boat. Any size higher than 70 pounds for this boat, I was going to have to rewire to a larger gauge wire because of the amp draw. Too many amps makes the wires hot. Don't want that to happen. The number 3 reason is because it had this thing called anchor mode. I was intrigued by anchor mode, similar to the spot lock with the Minn Kotas. I was extremely intrigued by it, and I absolutely love it. I have to retie a bait or want to change baits. I don't have to worry about the wind blowing me around or trying to anchor down. Hit a button, step on the button on the foot pedal, boom, you stick around. You can go through every cubby, you can take a nap, you can do whatever you want to. You can eat lunch and not have to worry about where your boat's going. It's going to stay there. If you're wanting to fish a particular point, you can hit spot lock, or it's anchor mode for motor guides, spot lock for Minn Kotas. But hit the anchor mode, boom, you stay there, you can fish the crap out of that point, and then you can move on. You don't have to worry about drifting off a point or losing your spot. You know, you find something in particular underneath your boat you want to fish, you want to vertical jig it, boom, hit anchor mode, drop down your bait, and you're still there. The fourth reason that I got the Xi3 here is I knew that it could tie into my Lowrance fish finder. At the time I thought that was going to be a huge feature, but afterwards it is really not that important to me, mainly because I don't have a Lowrance up here at the bow. If I had a Lowrance at the bow, you know, I would have the waypoint and I would be able to go to the waypoint from the bow. But with just on the console, I would have to walk back there, find my waypoint, click on it, and then tell the trolling motor to go to it, and then I have to climb back up. It's just a lot of hassle there. If it's already up here at the bow, that would have been a great thing, but I don't have it at the bow, so, and I don't plan on getting one. I don't really plan on doing any more upgrades to my boat. The next thing is upgraded boats. Alright, so now let's take a little closer look at how I have it installed and the Motorguide Xi3 itself. So it is a 3-blade, it is a 3-blade prop. It has the guard here toward the prop, so giving plenty of room for any transducer you may want to install. It does have to be installed fairly over the edge of your bow. I do have my transducer installed here. We'll talk about that here in a minute on how to get this where it doesn't bunch up and stuff. I'll probably show you guys how I retract and all that. So the shaft does slide in and out through the motor here. This is the motor that turns the motor, turns the trolling motor. Yeah, we're gonna go with that. And the shaft slides up to this collar, which you can tighten and vary the height on it. This is a 54-inch shaft. I think it's the only one that the Xi3s, the 70 pounds come with. So you can move this collar up and down, but this collar is important to stay locked. It's especially important if you're using heading lock or if you're trying to jog your boat left, right, north, or left, right, forward or backward, that this stays in place. So here's the head unit. I probably could have done a better job of install than having this hanging over the boat like that, like it is. I'm not going to redo it, but it does get pretty close to dock sometimes. It has been hit a few times, I'm not going to lie there. Okay, so we're going to lower the unit down so you guys can see that process. So there's a foot pedal thing here that I rarely use my foot to press. So there's this foot pedal thing here that I very rarely use my foot to press this. I almost always use my hand when I'm in the boat. I'll actually do this in the boat here in a minute so you guys can see the process of actually getting it all the way in and out. Press it, it releases the lock, and then you can pull the motor out, and it rotates up like this, and then you can lower it down, turn, latches, and it latches again. Okay, not too bad. We'll show you guys a little more. So here's the head unit. Up here, this is where the GPS is held, and the cables. Really can't see much down in there, but here's the motor unit that turns it. We'll plug it in here in a minute. And you see my nice spiral of transducer cable. So in order to have a transducer on here, you can do the spiral here because it allows the motor to freely turn several turns if you needed to, and it won't get tangled up. And you guys just saw how easily it came down. See how it's threaded underneath the motor? Right there. It goes underneath it. I have rubber spacers here. And then I have it going down into my boat here. And it comes out and it connects to my garment. So, pretty easy thing to do, just to spiral it up the shaft there. Pretty nice. You see how beat up this thing is. It's been used quite a bit. I usually go fishing once or twice a week, so she does get used. So the Xi3s come with this remote. That's all they come with. So you have a heading lock, you have cruise control, anchor mode, then you have a manual mode where you can increase your speeds, and then you have some presets that you can save and install. I honestly never use the presets. I don't feel like they're very useful, especially fishing 2 or 3 different lakes. Not very useful. What I do find most useful is the anchor mode, and that's about it. You have it in anchor mode. You can jog left 5 feet, 10 feet, 15 feet, or forward, 5, 10, 15, or any direction. So it's pretty handy to have this thing in your pocket, especially if you're vertical jigging. You have this thing in anchor mode, and you're like, hey, I need to move back 5 feet and left 5 feet. Boom, boom. You stick it back in your pocket, and you're done. So here's the foot pedal that does not come with the Xi3. It actually only comes with the Xi5s. You have to buy this separately for the Xi3s. Yeah, I will tell you why I bought it. Obviously, it makes the trolling motor a lot easier to use, especially during bass fishing. But you also, here you have your anchor mode, you have your continuous, you have your switch, and then you have your speed. Alright guys, so I'm going to actually try to retract this with one hand. So, simple, you press this to unlock it, grab the head, pull up on the head, and then you have to pull this in. It's really hard with one hand, so forgive me. But there you go. Everything's latched in. The cables aren't pinched or anything, and we're locked. And it's the same process in reverse. You press this button, you push it out, and you just let it slide on down. Boom, locked in, ready to go. Okay guys, so we've talked about all the different functions of the trolling motor. Now let's talk about pros and cons. Pros, anchor mode. Absolutely love it. The second thing is the remote. It's very handy when I do a lot of anchor modes. When I find a spot I like to fish at, I hit the anchor mode, I'll fish it for a minute, and then I move on. Cons. The foot pedal is an absolute con. It is pretty terrible. It doesn't use actual switches. It uses magnetic switches that have to get within a certain magnet has to get in a certain proximity of the switch. And when I first got this foot pedal, it was really hard to make go left. I had to actually stand on the heel all the way down to make it go left. And then, like, if I just wanted to go right, sometimes I just lay my foot on the foot pedal and it would go right. I did take it apart. I put some washers in there to adjust the magnets to get them at different distances away from the sensors, and it has helped, but it's still not perfect. I wish it was a cable system and like the Ultrex. I think that'd be a lot better. The second con about the foot pedal is the Xi3 does not come with it. Now you look at a similar Xi5, I believe it's the 80-pound 54-inch, and it comes 54-inch shaft, 24 volt, and it comes with the foot pedal. It's like $1,700. I paid $950 for this trolling motor and was able to buy the foot pedal separately for $150. It's not too bad of a price. So you're looking at $1,100 versus $1,700. And far as I know, the functionalities are exactly the same. The trolling motor does get my boat going about 4.5 miles an hour, full speed, in low wind conditions and low current conditions. I do like the longer shaft. It allows me to stay in a little windier conditions. If the swells get up to 1 or 2 feet, I can actually still hit anchor mode, prepare or get my equipment put away, and then move on, go home or whatever I'm going to do. So as promised at the beginning of the video, I said that I would tell you if I would buy a different trolling motor if I could. And the answer is yes. The trolling motor foot pedal is the largest con, and it absolutely is frustrating from time to time. Especially if you're on a windy day and you're just trying to avoid trees or stumps or whatever, and then your trolling motor decides to go wonky because your foot pedal isn't cooperating or staying connected, or decides to do a random right turn because you laid your foot on the foot pedal. I mean, it's frustrating, but yes, I would upgrade, and I would go for the Minn Kota Ultrex, mainly because it also has the spot lock feature, similar to anchor mode. To get into that, I do believe the Minn Kota spot lock is better than Motorguide's anchor mode, because I was with a friend in his boat versus my boat. He's got the Ultrex. On the same windy day, we were 10 feet apart, and my boat was moving 4 or 5 feet further than his boat. So I believe the Ultrex can hold you in spot a whole lot better. Thank you for watching my video, and as always, if you're new to fishing or know someone who's just getting into fishing, tell them about my channel, subscribe to my channel, and I will teach you and your friends all about catching fish. But until next time, get out there and go catch you some fish.